Okay, so we try again. Third time lucky. We were having internet connection. Sorry about that. So today I wanted to have a chat to you about a couple of things. One is about the article I've linked to with SIDS. It is so fantastic. There is an organisation in Australia called Rivers Gift, and they are funding research into SIDS and into why some babies die of SIDS and why, obviously not all babies die, and why some babies are more prone to SIDS, they believe, than others. No one's doing research in Australia. Everybody thinks that there's a company out there which used to be called SIDS and Kids, and then it was formerly called SIDS and Kids, and now it's called Red Nose Day, and everybody thinks that they fund SIDS, that they fund research, but unfortunately I don't think they do. My belief is that they don't, that the money we give to them when we collect for Red Nose and so on is used to support parents whose children have died unexpectedly and suddenly. Now, that is a fantastic cause, and I'm not saying don't support them. All I'm saying is they're not actively researching, as far as I'm aware, and Rivers Gift is. And it is fantastic that Rivers Gift are doing research, because about 4 or 5 years ago I went to a talk on SIDS, and they were talking about how they believed that some babies who were sleeping in their cot, they might accidentally roll over to their tummy and become face down in their mattress. And for some reason, some babies don't realise they're getting no oxygen. So some babies can sleep on their tummy, face down in the mattress, and they don't get enough oxygen, and something tells them, you don't have enough oxygen, there's not enough oxygen in the air, turn your head to the side. So the baby might lift their head up and turn to the side, or they might lift themselves up and roll back to their back, etc. They move position and they get oxygen again. But it's believed that some babies don't, and it's believed that there's something in the makeup of some babies that they don't realise they're not getting enough oxygen, so they don't move. So they don't move to a position where they can get more oxygen, so they pass away from rebreathing the same air with no oxygen in it, and they think that that's all connected. Look, I'm not a scientist or I'm not a medical expert. That's my interpretation, and I think it's absolutely fantastic that there is some research and it's connected to South Australia, and there is an article which I've linked to which talks about that. It shows why tummy sleeping is so dangerous, not for all babies, but for some babies. We don't know which ones, and that's why we should sleep all of our babies on their back. Now, my second subject I wanted to talk about was early rising. Lots of people are contacting me at the moment about early rising. I believe the reason why we're having a sudden influx with people talking about early rising is because the weather is getting warmer and people are so scared of overheating their babies, they do the opposite and they underheat them. Now, you have to remember, it's really difficult to overheat a baby. I contacted the former Red Nose Day company, which was SIDS and Kids, and asked them for information on all children in Australia that have died of overheating. And they were able to send me information of one child in the Netherlands. And when myself and Nathan read this information, we were like, that is roasting a baby. It's not overheating. It was ridiculous, the temperature of the room, what the baby was sleeping in, etc. It's much harder to overheat a baby than we realise. Underheating, in my opinion, is really dangerous. If you underheat your baby will early rise, might wake during the night, and will catnap during the day or have short sleeps during the day, and will flip to their tummy to warm up. So early rising at this time of year can often be caused by parents changing the bedding, removing bedding or layers, or changing the tug of the sleeping bag because they're scared of overheating their baby when actually they underheat them and they cause early rising. So that's one thing we'd look at. Another thing we would look at is the milk your child's on. What milk is your baby eating or drinking? I only recommend A2 milk from over the age of 14 months. It could be the infant formula you're on. It could be that you're breastfeeding and you're taking probiotics. It could be that you're giving your baby a probiotic supplement. These are reasons why a child might early rise. It might be that they're not getting the proper type of food during the day. Now, children in a lot of European countries have their big main meal in the middle of the day and their smaller meal at night. I recommend that right till about the age of 3 or 4. I think you should try and give them a big meal in the middle of the day. We at home in Ireland call it breakfast, dinner and tea, because we do dinner, the big meal in the middle of the day. So that can be another reason for early rising. But another reason for early rising is the time of the first sleep of the day. So what we know, and we don't know why, is any sleep some children get before a certain time in the day, well, all children actually, not some children. So let's say you have a 15-month-old who actually needs a daytime bedtime of 12 o'clock, and you don't know that. So you're putting your 15-month-old to bed in the day at 11 o'clock, but your 15-month-old actually needs a 12 o'clock bedtime in the day. So that hour from 11 till 12, the extra sleep for that child, comes off your nighttime sleep. So you would put your baby to bed if you were putting your 15-month-old to bed at 12 o'clock in the day, you would then put your 15-month-old to bed at 7 o'clock at night. Because they went to bed at 12 in the day, they will sleep till 7 in the morning. But if you put that same 15-month-old to bed at 11 in the day, they have had an hour's sleep before their needed sleep time of 12 o'clock. You then put them to bed at 7 o'clock at night, and they will early rise at 5:30 or 6 in the morning because of the time of their daytime sleep. If you move that same child's sleep to 12 o'clock, they'll sleep till 7 o'clock. So the time of the first sleep of the day affects the time they wake in the morning. So I would look at, if you came to me for early rising, I would look at your diet. I would look at what milk your baby's on, which is in diet. I would look at the texture of the food. I would look at the type of meals you're giving them. I would look at what time their daytime sleep was. We have some children as young as 10 months that need to go on a one-day sleep in order to stop the early rising. And you might have one of those babies. So we would look at the time of the daytime sleep, and we would also look at the amount of time of the daytime sleep. So if your child's having a 3-hour daytime sleep, we might cut it to 2.5 hours, which can help with the early rising. And we would look at the bedtime. So if you're putting a baby to bed at 7 o'clock at night, they then will wake at 9 o'clock at night from a sleep cycle, and then they will wake at 11, and then 1, 3, and 5. So they wake at 5, it's still dark, they go back to sleep, and they sleep until 7 o'clock in the morning. But if you're putting them to bed at 7:30 and they wake at 5:30, it's daylight, and they might want to start their day then having missed 2 hours of sleep. Kath just says her 13-month-old sleeps from 10 a.m. till 12:30 and is on 1 day sleep, and she sleeps from 7 to 6:30. So there's an example. I think if Kath moved her child's daytime sleep to 10:30, she might find that her child actually sleeps till 7 the next day. Brodie Ford says she can never get her child till 7 a.m. So again, Brodie, it might be that you need to change the time of your daytime sleep. The other thing, talking of sleep cycles, I was in a restaurant yesterday in Geelong, and I saw this lovely baby next to me, and a lovely, lovely baby, and the mum, was, I don't know, she was sitting cuddling her baby, and they were having a lovely time, and then this older woman came over and started chatting to them, and she started talking about sleep regression, and I was going, what is it? Why has some random older lady come up to a new mum in a cafe restaurant in Geelong and started talking about sleep regression? Why is everybody obsessed with sleep regression? I find children on a routine who know how to sleep correctly, who can get from one sleep cycle to the next, don't suffer from sleep regression. So please, 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 if an older person or a younger person or anyone comes up to you and decides to chat to you about sleep regression, don't panic. Don't think your child's going to suffer from sleep regression, because it is unusual when you're following routines and your child knows how to sleep. Now, Brodie hasn't told us what age her child is, so she's asking more questions, but I can't help you, Brodie, because I don't know what age your little one is. But if your little one's never slept till 7, I would look at bedding, and I would look at the time of the sleep. So hopefully that's helped you all with some early rising. Thank you. I will take questions another day. I'm not taking questions now. I was just giving you some tidbits. And please read the article, which is very interesting. And if anybody is interested in supporting SIDS research, please, if you want to support families who've lost children from SIDS, donate to Red Nose Day. If you want to support SIDS research, it's River's Gift, who are doing the research currently in Australia. Thank you very much. Thanks for listening. Bye.